Hello and welcome to another edition of Cranky Gun Reviews here on this cold Tuesday. 34 degrees, pretty windy out here. Nice, I have some range time, there's nobody else out here, so promised you guys a video on my new American Predator from Ruger. So that's what I'm going to do today. And for a quick review, this is a 223 Remington bolt action rifle, 22-inch barrel, has an A2 style birdcage muzzle brake on it, uses AR style mags, and I'm just shooting some generic American Eagle AE223, nothing special as far as the ammo goes, and I'm just trying to sight it in. I haven't even shot this thing yet, so 50 yards, I'm going to take some shots and then I'll head out to 100 yards. So let's just go ahead and see what I got here at 50 yards. I have no idea if I'm anywhere near close. Actually, I'm going to sit down and do this. All right, 50 yards. Let's see what I got here. It's high and a tiny bit left, but the wind is pretty bad, so I'm probably not going to adjust the windage too much right now. I just want to get it where I'm close to the bullseye here. Probably should have put a brand new target up because that one has some scratches and stuff on it. I really can't see what I'm doing too well. I tried bore sighting it by just looking down the barrel and then sighting in the scope based on what I saw through the barrel, but I don't have an actual jig to, have the this rifle stay still. So I'm really not sure where I am right now on paper, but I'll dial it in eventually.
I'm not really that comfortable here at this bench right now. Let's see here. I'll find out. Alright, I see 3 of my 4 of my shots now. I think I'm still hitting high. Let me go back to the middle and see what I can get here.
Tough to say. And that's a full magazine. Well, one of the things that stinks about coming out here to sight in rifles without either a bore laser or something like that, or having a shop do it, you tend to waste a little bit of ammo. Now, I only brought out like 60 or 80 rounds of 223, so I'm going to drop the camera off. I'm going to try to get this thing sighted in a little bit closer, and then I'll come back. All right, so I was able to get it sighted in. I was actually, I thought I was shooting high, so I dropped it low, and I dropped it so far it was off paper. So now I have it set up pretty good. I have it sighted in at 50, and then I went out to 100. At 100, my group looks like it's about 2.5 inches. I had a couple flyers. I think that's just me. The trigger is a little bit heavy right now, so I know people that were testing the factory trigger weight, and I don't have a trigger gauge, but people that were testing the factory trigger weight on this thing were saying it's about 4.5 to 5 pounds, which for a target style rifle, it's not very good. So I'm going to end out dropping that down as far as I can get it. I think you can get it down to about 3 pounds just by loosening up the screw that they have for that. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take some accuracy shots. I have about a 3.5-inch bullseye, both at 50 and 100 yards. I'm going to see what I can get, and it's not as easy for me as I was hoping because my eyes are watering due to the wind out here. So when I'm trying to focus on the scope, it's really hard to see right now. So I'm going to take my best shot at a group at 50 yards, 5 rounds, and a group at 100 yards, 5 rounds. I'll take my time. I'll do as good a breathing as I can, and let's see how I can do. Here we go. All right, so we're coming up to my 50-yard target. My group at 50 yards is phenomenal. At 100 yards, I don't think it's so good because it's so freaking windy out here. This is my 50-yard group. So 3 rounds are in those 2 holes, and then I have 2 there. That's about an inch. Now that's better than my 7.62 by 39 can do. I am very, very impressed so far with the accuracy of this. And again, this is just standard AE223 rounds. This is when I was trying to get it sighted in, and this is when I was trying to get it sighted in. So, you know, 9 rounds here. I had 1 flyer at 10 when I was sighting it in. These 5 were a little bit loose as I was pulling it in, but that's what I came to after I sighted it in at 50 yards. And let's go out and check my 100-yard target. I know this one's not going to be as impressive. I was watching them fly with the wind, and again, I don't know how much the wind is blowing here. If I'm guessing, it's probably 10 to 12 or 10 to 15 miles an hour crosswise. So the group I had at 100 yards is not nearly as good. So let's see what I got here. Oh yeah, that's terrible. So at 100 yards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at 100 yards, and I was aiming dead center here. That's piss poor, but I'm blaming that on the wind. This is 55 grain full metal jacket that I'm shooting. A couple of these up here, those are from the 7.62 by 54. Actually, that one and that one. That's yeah, those 3 are 7.62 54. And this is when I was sighting it in at 100. I mean, I was able to get a pretty good group here, but this is when I was trying to get a group. So this doesn't count because that's when I was just sighting it in. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to take a shot at this one here. So just for reference, I have a 7.62 54 here and here, so those 2 don't count. And I'll try to do a group on the head, and I'll try to do a group on this target as well. And let's see what I can get at 100 yards again. All right, so I did a couple more groups at 50 yards. My groups at 50 are really good. My groups at 100, I did a few more, and it took me a little bit more to get sighted in at 100, but let's go look at my groups at 50 again. So this was the last group I did at 50. That was the first one I did. That was the last one I did. So they're roughly about the same. I would say about 1.5 inches. I mean, maybe not even 1.5 inches. It's just barely bigger than the size of my thumb. This one's a little bit bigger. So that one maybe about 1.25 inches. No, maybe not even. It looks like about 1 inch, a little over 1 inch on that one, a little less than 1 inch on this one. This one is 6 rounds. That one's a little bit bigger than it should have been. And then I basically shot 1 bullet here, finished off the last 3 rounds I had there. So again, that's about just about 1 inch maybe at 50 yards. So let's go out to 100 again. Now, second group I tried at 100 was a little bit better, and then it got one bad group, and then it got better again. But it's pretty windy. I mean, again, I don't know what the wind is, but so there's a couple factors here I think that's causing the issues with my groups at 100. One is it's windy. Two, my trigger finger is frozen, like it's almost numb. And three, I'm not using target ammo. So again, my first group was over here. My second group I shot here. That round was already there and that round was already there. So I had three about 1.5 inches apart. One of them hit here and one of them hit high. And I know I pulled that when I watched the scope jump when I pulled the trigger. So again, not a very good group there. Then I shot one round here and I started trying to aim for that. So I got two touching each other, two touching each other, and one a little bit low. So that's about a 2-inch group. And then these was, again, when I was sighting it in. Then I did the same over here. I shot one round and I tried to put 3 more on that same round using that as my aiming point. And again, my group less than 2 inches, I think, on this one. About 2 inches on this one. And then I came back up and I just finished off the last rounds I had on this guy. So 3 of them in the red, one a little bit low, and then I was shooting kind of fast, so these ones are a little bit outside. But this is the width of 4 fingers, so that's not even 4 inches across this head at 100 yards. And I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 rounds and about a 3.5-inch circle there. I had 3 rounds here, you know, one a little bit outside and one a little bit high. And again, this group about 2 inches, this group about 2 inches. So at 100 yards, I'm doing 2 inches or less when I'm taking my time. I'm pulling the stock into my shoulder with my left hand and I'm squeezing as easy as I can on the trigger. I did notice with that trigger, a lot of times I tend to wrap my whole finger around the trigger. So the first hinge in my finger is where I put the middle of the trigger. I definitely get way better shots if I only use the tip of my finger to do it. But again, my finger's also frozen right now because it's only about 34, 35 degrees outside. So, but again, I'm going to take this target home and actually measure the groups on here to see how big they were. And I'll report the results at the end of the video. Once again, thank you for watching Cranky Gun Reviews. It's been a beautiful day out here on this Tuesday. I appreciate any time that you guys take to spend with me. This has been the Ruger American Predator in .223 sighting in and accuracy testing at 50 and 100 yards. Someday I'll get back out to a 200 and 400 yard range so we can see what it'll really do. But when I do that, it's going to have to be a still day because if it's windy like it is today, it's not going to be good results. Thanks again for watching. God bless America. Remember to support your 2A rights.